Unassuming bone, something you might not even think about, could silently diminish your mobility and independence, sort of eroding the vibrant life you imagine for your later years.
It's a scary thought, isn't it?
It really is. Today on the Deep Dive, we're uncovering the surprising truth about spinal bone spurs, often known as osteophytes. And these are often dismissed as just a part of aging, but they can, especially for people over 60, lead to some really significant life-altering challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. Our deep dive today is really about cutting through the noise. We've sifted through the research, looked at the sources to extract the essential nuggets,
Right.
helping you understand the hidden dangers of these bone spurs, pinpoint common daily habits that often inadvertently accelerate their progression.
Things we all do, probably.
Exactly. And crucially, reveal natural, actionable solutions. We're focusing quite a bit on the nutrition and lifestyle changes based on what the evidence suggests.
So the goal is really to give everyone listening a clear, concise pathway to being well-informed on what sounds like a critical health issue.
Precisely. A shortcut to understanding this complex topic.
Okay, let's really get into this then. Most of us have probably heard the term bone spurs. Maybe you've seen it on an X-ray report, perhaps for a parent or even yourself, and thought, okay, no big deal, just a minor nuisance.
Yeah, that's a common reaction.
But our sources really underscore how this seemingly harmless bony growth can evolve, sometimes slowly, sometimes maybe faster, into a relentless source of discomfort and, well, eventually profound limitation.
And what's often misunderstood, I think, is that a bone spur isn't some rogue sharp shard, like the name suggests. It's not like a spur on a cowboy boot.
Right, not sharp.
No, not usually. It's actually your body's attempt, sometimes a misguided one, to stabilize a joint or a spinal disc that's undergoing wear and tear.
So the body's trying to help.
In a way, yes. When the discs between your vertebrae start to degenerate, maybe they lose height or water content, or the ligaments become a bit lax, the body senses instability. It tries to reinforce the area.
Let's get down.
Specialized cells, osteoblasts, they get signaled to lay down new bone tissue. Essentially, they're creating a wider base, or sometimes trying to bridge between vertebrae to lock things down.
Okay.
So they're typically smooth growths. It's their location where they grow that can cause significant issues.
That's a really powerful distinction. So not sharp, but a natural response that becomes problematic because of where it is. It starts small, often unnoticed, you said.
Exactly. Initially asymptomatic.
But you mentioned location. How does this silent stabilization effort turn into something so debilitating?
Well, picture the spine not just as a stack of bones, but as having these tunnels and openings for your nerves to pass through.
Okay.
When these bony growths expand, even smoothly, they can start to encroach upon these critical pathways. Specifically, if they narrow the openings where individual nerves exit the spinal column.
The foramina.
Precisely, the foramina. That condition is called foraminal stenosis. When that happens, those delicate nerves get compressed, squeezed.
And that's when you feel it.
That's when you start feeling those insidious early warning signs, maybe a persistent dull ache or perhaps a strange tingling or numbness you can't quite shake. Often in your back, your neck initially.
I can just imagine people dismissing that. I just slept funny or must have pulled something.
All the time. Very easy to ignore at first.
But our sources really drive home that if this isn't addressed, the progression can escalate. Sometimes dramatically, right? It's not just about generalized pain anymore.
Exactly. It becomes incredibly specific and can radiate.
Radiate? How so?
Well, the continuous pressure on those nerves can become truly agonizing. With cervical spurs, for example, so spurs in the neck.
Okay.
The pain, tingling, or numbness can radiate down your arms into your hands. This can lead to weakness, making simple tasks like, gripping a pen, buttoning a shirt, opening a jar, surprisingly difficult.
Wow. And what about the lower back? Lumbar spurs.
A similar idea, but down the legs. With lumbar spurs, that radiating pain, often called sciatica if it affects the sciatic nerve, can shoot down your buttocks and legs.
Ouch.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like a persistent burning or a deep ache. People describe their limbs feeling asleep or on fire for hours. It's a profound shift from just discomfort to a genuine loss of function.
That sounds absolutely terrifying. I mean, to potentially lose the ability to do basic things, walk steadily, hold a cup, because of something that started as you said, a small, smooth growth.
It is, and I think what often catches people off guard is the sheer impact on their daily independence.
Right.
We tend to attribute these symptoms to just getting old, it's a common refrain, but often they're the direct result of this nerve compression from the spurs. it's a mechanical issue.
And you mentioned TCM earlier, traditional Chinese medicine. How does that perspective view this?
Yeah, it's an interesting lens. In TCM, this would likely be seen as a severe blockage of qi, the vital energy and blood flow in the affected meridians or channels.
Like a dam in a river.
Sort of, yeah. When that natural harmony, that flow, is disrupted, it impacts everything. Your sleep quality can plummet, energy levels drop, your overall desire to be active diminishes because it hurts or feels strange.
So it really affects overall well-being.
Absolutely. It's often a slow erosion of your quality of life, and it's definitely not something to simply accept as inevitable. It's a signal from your body that proactive steps are not just helpful, but essential.
Okay, that is a critical takeaway right there. This isn't just fate, it's something we can potentially influence. So, knowing that, let's explore something equally crucial you touched on. What if many of our everyday routines, habits developed over years, are actually, maybe unknowingly, fueling the progression of these bone spurs?
That's a truly insightful question, and based on the mechanisms we understand, the answer seems to be a resounding yes.
How so?
Well, remember, bone spur formation is the body's response to instability.
Right, the misguided repair job.
Exactly. So when the intervertebral discs, those cushions between your vertebrae, start to dehydrate, lose height, get worn down, or the ligaments holding things together become stretched or lax, your body attempts to fuse or reinforce the area by laying down new bone.
Trying to create stability where it's lacking?
Yes, it's a compensatory mechanism, but unfortunately it often creates more problems like nerve compression than it solves. And many modern lifestyle habits, unfortunately, seem to accelerate this degenerative process.
Okay, like poor posture, for instance. That seems obvious, but maybe break it down. We spend hours, hunched over desks, craning our necks at smartphones, slouching on the couch.
Guilty as charged, probably for many of us.
Yeah. How does that seemingly innocent habit contribute?
Well, years of this kind of sustained, unnatural spinal alignment place immense chronic stress on your discs and ligaments. Think of it like constantly bending a paperclip back and forth in one spot.
Eventually it weakens.
Precisely. This constant strain signals your body that something is unstable there. It triggers those osteoblasts we mentioned to lay down more bone, often right where the stressed ligaments attach to the vertebrae.
Ah, reinforcing the attachment point.
Right, so you end up with more spurs, which can lead to increased pain, and a spine that gradually loses its natural flexibility. It becomes stiff, resistant to movement. It's a cycle.
And connecting this to the broader picture, a sedentary lifestyle, seems like another obvious culprit. But can you elaborate on how just not moving enough specifically impacts spinal health and spurs?
Absolutely. It's not just about lack of exercise in general. Movement is quite literally the lifeblood of our joints, especially the spinal discs.
How so? They don't have blood vessels, do they?
Exactly right. Unlike most other tissues, they don't have a direct blood supply. They rely on movement, the gentle compression and decompression that happens when you walk, stretch, even just shift your weight in your chair.
Like a sponge effect.
That's a great analogy. That pumping action pushes waste products out and pulls vital nutrients and hydration in.
Okay.
Prolonged sitting, being sedentary, basically starves these discs. It slows down that nutrient exchange, accelerates their dehydration and degeneration.
And weaker discs mean more instability.
Which signals the body to form more bone spurs. And then, of course, if you have pain from spurs, you want to move less.
Which makes the discs worse.
Oh, dear.
It's a devastating cycle. Less movement leads to more degeneration and pain, which leads to even less desire or ability to move.
So it's mechanical stress from posture and nutritional deprivation for the discs from lack of movement. And then there's diet. Our sources make a powerful case that the standard American diet, the SAD diet, also plays a big role in this vicious cycle. How does what we eat actually contribute?
Yeah, this is a fascinating and really important connection. The link between systemic, body-wide inflammation and degenerative joint disease, including in the spine.
Inflammation,
Yeah.
like when you sprain an ankle. That's acute inflammation, which is helpful for healing. But we're talking about chronic, low-grade inflammation. The typical Western diet, which is often heavy in processed foods, refined sugars, unhealthy fats like certain vegetable oils and trans fats.
The stuff that tastes good but we know isn't great for us?
Pretty much. That kind of diet is pro-inflammatory. It's like constantly stoking a low-grade fire throughout your body.
Okay, a fire in the joints.
Metaphorically, yes. This chronic inflammation accelerates the breakdown of cartilage in your joints, and that includes the cartilage in your spinal discs and facet joints. When that cartilage erodes, it directly contributes to joint instability.
And instability triggers.
Those SOS signals to your body to lay down more bone to form spurs in an attempt to stabilize the degrading joint. So essentially, your diet can either be pouring gasoline on that inflammatory fire, or it can be the fire extinguisher.
Wow, that's a powerful connection, that our everyday food choices can literally be driving this degenerative process. So, okay, how do we break this cycle then? It sounds like the solution might lie less in the medicine cabinet and more perhaps in the pantry.
You've absolutely hit on a critical point there. The potential of food as medicine, especially for promoting healthy aging and managing conditions like this, is immense.
Okay.
The primary goal, based on this understanding, is to shift from a pro-inflammatory diet to one that actively reduces inflammation, to effectively douse that fire we just talked about.
Makes sense.
And the Mediterranean diet, for instance, is often highlighted as a fantastic blueprint for this. It's not the only way, but it's a well-studied model.
What makes it so good in this context?
It naturally emphasizes whole, unprocessed foods. Lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, and healthy fats, particularly extra virgin olive oil.
Yeah.
These foods are packed with anti-inflammatory compounds.
Right. And our sources really highlight some specific nutritional players, some key nutrients in this fight against inflammation and for better spinal health. What should people be looking for?
Yes, absolutely. A key insight revolves around omega-3 fatty acid.
That's fish oil.
That's a major source, yes. Fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, but also plant sources like flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts. These aren't just good fats, they are potent anti-inflammatory agents.
How do they work?
The body converts them into compounds, things like resolvins and protectants, which actively help resolve inflammation. Don't just block it, they help turn it off and clean up the damage. Studies suggest they can reduce pain and stiffness associated with inflammatory conditions.
Okay, omega-3s. What else?
Then we have antioxidants. Think vibrant colors.
Berries, dark leafy greens.
Exactly. Berries, spinach, kale, broccoli, bell peppers, a whole rainbow of fruits and vegetables. Antioxidants are crucial because they fight oxidative stress.
Free radicals.
Right. Those unstable molecules that damage cells and contribute to inflammation and aging. Antioxidants neutralize them, protecting your cells, including the structures in your spine, from ongoing damage.
Makes sense. Protect the building blocks. And of course, we can't talk about bones without mentioning calcium and vitamin D, foundational, right? But how do they specifically play into preventing bone spurs?
Good question. It's slightly indirect but fundamental. Calcium is, of course, the primary building block of bone tissue itself.
Yep.
And vitamin D is absolutely essential for your body to absorb that calcium effectively. It also plays roles in regulating calcium and phosphate levels, crucial for bone mineralization.
So strong bones are less likely to become unstable.
That's the idea. When your underlying bone structure is strong and healthy, it's less prone to the subtle weaknesses, microdamage, or general degeneration that can trigger the body's compensatory response to bone spur formation. Think of it as ensuring the structural integrity from the inside out, reducing the need for those bony reinforcements.
Where do we get those, besides supplements?
Well, dairy is a classic source of calcium, but also fortified plant milks, leafy greens like kale and collards, almonds. For vitamin D, sunlight exposure on the skin is a primary way our bodies make it.
Tricky in some climates or seasons.
Very true. So fortified foods like milk, orange juice, cereals, and fatty fish are important dietary sources, and supplementation is often necessary, especially for older adults.
Okay. And finally, something seemingly simple but profound. Hydration. Just drinking water. We hear it constantly, but what's its specific role here for the spine?
It's often overlooked, but it's critically important for disc health. Your spinal discs, especially their central core, the nucleus pulposus.
The jelly donut center.
Haha. Yes, kind of like that. It's about 80% water, especially when healthy. Maintaining adequate hydration is essential to keep these discs plump, resilient, and functioning as effective shock absorbers between your vertebrae.
So dehydration literally shrinks them.
It contributes to them losing height and their cushioning ability. Dehydrated discs become stiffer, less able to handle loads, which directly contributes to spinal instability and, you guessed it,
Can trigger bone spur formation.
exactly. So every glass of water is genuinely an investment in your spinal health. And just to tie this nutrition piece together, it's not just about adding the good stuff.
It's also about taking out the bad stuff.
Precisely. Consistently minimizing those highly processed foods, the sugary drinks, excessive red meat, the pro-inflammatory fats we talked about earlier. That alone can dramatically reduce your body's overall inflammatory load. People often report significant improvements in how they feel, how their joints feel, just by making those subtractions.
Wow. Okay, so we've really journeyed through the subtle dangers of these spinal bone spurs, unpacked how our everyday habits can inadvertently fuel them, and discovered the incredible healing power potentially waiting on our plates. But the true lesson today, it feels like, extends beyond just avoiding pain. It's about embracing the richness, the vitality of life that comes with good health as we age.
Absolutely. It's easy to think that aging inevitably means decline and limitation.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be a slow descent. It really can be a truly vibrant, active, and deeply fulfilling chapter. We see examples of that all the time.
So paint that picture. What does that look like?
Imagine waking up in the morning without that persistent, dull ache in your back. Imagine moving with an ease that allows you to truly engage with life again.
Like playing with grandkids.
Energetically playing with grandkids, yes. Or embarking on that travel adventure you've been putting off. Taking up a new hobby, maybe gardening or dancing, or simply enjoying a long, comfortable walk in the park without that nagging worry about stiffness or pain stopping you.
That sounds possible.
It's not some distant pipe dream. For many, it's an attainable reality, maybe not perfection, but significant improvement.
And this shift, it starts small, doesn't it, with consistent choices?
Exactly. It's the daily walk, even a short one, that nourishes your discs. It's taking 5 minutes for mindful stretching that eases spinal tension. It's the conscious decision at the grocery store to choose nutrient-rich whole foods over the inflammatory processed ones.
These aren't grand, heroic gestures.
Not at all. They're small actions, but when they're compounded over time, day after day, week after week, they create a profound ripple effect. It's not just about healing your physical body. These choices nourish your spirit too. They help you reclaim a sense of agency, a sense of power over your own health journey.
Building that partnership with your body, as you said earlier, listening to its signals, giving it what it needs to thrive, not just survive.
That's beautifully put. And the impact of these small, deliberate changes is often far more significant than people anticipate. Not just physically, but in their overall outlook, their energy, their zest for life.
So, as everyone listening goes about their week, maybe consider this. What one small change can you commit to today or this week that will make your future self, the you of tomorrow, next year, 10 years from now, healthier, happier, and more vibrant?
A powerful question to ponder.
Because remember, every step, every choice, and yes, every meal is a direct investment in the quality of your future.